Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. It's me again, Jen. Hello. And it is Thursday. It is the 5th of November, and we are reading from the Cat Tarot deck. And it is a tarot deck that is created by, and I keep having to look at this, Julia Smiley, and it is illustrated by Megan Lynn Cott. So if you are interested, and that's Cott with a K, if you are interested in ordering these cards, I totally think you should check it out. It does come with a really cute little guidebook that is much more significant than most little books that come inside the box. And the box itself is pretty sturdy too, and it's got a little cat on the end of it. This was a gift from my dear friend and co-host, Mary. We together host Casing the Cover, which is a podcast where we talk about books and book covers and why you should totally judge a book by a cover, or maybe not. Anyway, I think this card deck is absolutely adorable, and I will be reading from it the entire month of November. And as you can see, my cats are enjoying it as well. So without further ado, let's see what card we have for this Thursday. Oh, well, okay, that's not the best way to go into the moving towards the end of the week, but let's see. We have what I think is the Nine of Swords. In this deck, it seems to be the Nine of Claws, maybe? I looked through some of these cards the other day and I noticed that swords seem to be represented by claws and teeth. So, still a pointy object, still something to either defend or attack with. It does make sense. And also, we've got this little triangle feature down here, symbol, and it does appear to be a 9. I think I'm holding this upside down. I don't know. Anyway, it's hard to tell which way is up on this one because the cat's kind of stretching out. And my skills with Roman numerals is not fantastic, but I do know an X and an I is 9. That's correct. That's correct. I'm holding this the right way. Either way, the Nine of Swords typically is a card of anxiety and frustration and stress and sleeplessness and kind of all those things that ball you into turmoil at night. So I think it's kind of interesting that it kind of looks like a cat who's just stretching out his claws. But maybe he's stretching because he's angry? I don't know. I'm not getting the big anxiety off of this card. It's cute. It's very simplistic. I think it's too simplistic, honestly. But yes, typically the Nine of Swords is that anxiety card. There's a lot of tension. In a more traditional deck, you would have the person kind of sitting up in bed, maybe crying into their hands or something similar, and there's lots of swords either on the wall or on the ground around them or something like that. There are swords. And the swords are representative of all of those things that stress us out. So when this card comes up in a reading, typically what it means is that the person is under a ton of stress and there are a lot of things going on. And yeah, it's bad right now. There's always that it's bad right now. There's something good coming. There's always something good coming. Promise, promise, promise. Um, the other thing with this card, if it comes up inverted, it really is that the person there really isn't anything bad going on outside. It's everything is inside. And they may be reading into concerns, they may be reading into people's discussions about them. They may think that there is gossip or something going on behind their back, and there really isn't. Everything's pretty chill, and yet at the same time this person is so stressed and so anxious that they are literally winding themselves up into this ball of anxiety and tension. I've seen this card come up for a lot of people who tend to find anxiety wherever they go. It could be something good, something positive, big changes are happening in their life, and they stress about it rather than embracing it as something new and exciting. So, one of the pieces of advice I tend to give with this card is can you find a way to look at a silver lining? Can you find a way to find the positive in this situation? Is there something you can do or someone you can talk to kind of ease your thoughts a little bit? 9 times out of 10, the bigger this card is in the reading, the more prominent it is in the reading, the more it is about what that person is doing to themselves and the stress that they are creating around a situation that really isn't as stressful as they're making it out to be. So my advice when this card comes up, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, a Thursday we're having this card, how bad has your week been, kind of thing. But it also can be like a moment to reflect and think, okay, what have I really been thinking about, anxious about, and how can I talk to somebody about it and kind of release some of this anxiety? On the other side of it, too, meditation is usually great to suggest to somebody when these cards come up. But again, moving back to just this card in particular, I am not going to gain all that stuff. If I am a new reader, seeing this cat stretching his claws out and no other context at all kind of makes me think that they weren't working too hard on finding symbolism for this one. I think you could have just as easily had a cat who's like all spiked up, like, and anxious, because we've all seen our cats poof. And to me, a poofed up cat really embodies this card and its meanings a lot more than a stretching cat and just their claws stretching out. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because there are 9 toes on this cat. Yeah, I did count them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side and 5 on the other side. And I don't know what happened to that 5th one on this one. Maybe he was born without it. Who knows? Cats have weird toes. Have you ever noticed that? Okay, I'm totally going to sidebar on that with the weird toes that cats have. If anybody has a cat with like multiple toes, please let me know. I have cats with like 5 toes. I have a 6-toed cat. All right, enough of my rambling. I would not glean all of that information from this card of being anxious and all those things. So yet again, this is another card in this deck where not only do you have to be a rather proficient reader to know what this card is and what it represents, but also be really clear on that's why there's a triangle on here and that claws are swords. And there's just so many things about this that are like too loosey-goosey for me on this one. It's cool, the art is lovely, but at the same time, I wouldn't recommend this deck to somebody who's new unless you've really, really studied this particular deck and started to learn from it. Because, you know, I read from standard decks of playing cards, for goodness sake. It's not crazy to do that. And you don't always need to have all the symbolism on the card. But I do find that if you have a deck that is specifically meant to be a tarot deck and it should have all that symbolism in it and it's left with you being confused, it's really not doing its job. So, beautiful art, cute cat, but just doesn't do it for me with the 9 of Swords. Either way, if you have any comments about this card or any of the other cards that we have done, please feel free to leave a comment below. Also, check out the links in the description and you will find a link to Casing the Cover, and you can listen to Mary and I and all our shenanigans, and you can let her know on those podcasts that I am reading from her gift of the Cat Tarot deck this month. Also, for anyone who is doing NaNoWriMo, go with the word count. I'm super excited. I'm proud of you. And if you have any need of being like coached onward or whatever, leave a comment below. Let me know your word count and I'll let you know mine, and we can kind of link up on that kind of thing too, because I'm super excited about NaNoWriMo this year, and I'm super excited about the people that give it a shot every year. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, keep writing, and I will see you soon. Bye!